Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to a breaking news, breaking NFL draft, breaking Quinn Ewers edition of Orange Bloods Live. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the page, get notifications, jump into that specs chat. We will be going for a little bit while we react to Quinn Ewers finally going off the board in round 7. Oh, wait, hold on just a second, guys. Sorry. Deal with a dog issue. Quinn Ewers in round 7. It's been quite the NFL draft as we sit here going live today, reacting to Quinn Ewers going into the 7th round. The Longhorns have had a total of 12 draft picks in all in the NFL draft so far. It hasn't been a bad day for everybody as it relates to the NFL draft, and the Longhorns. We'll recap. It started off in round 4. Gunnar Helm went to the Titans. Round 4, Barron Sorrell went to the Packers. Round 5, Jaden Blue went to the Cowboys in a spot that I actually like a lot for Jaden Blue. Cam Williams finally came off the board in round 6. Hayden Connor goes off the board in round 6, pick 211. And then, like I said just moments ago, pick 231, Quinn Ewers goes 15th pick of the 7th round. Wow, there's a lot to unpack. With the news today. Like there's no way to get around the fact that we can offer congratulations, but I think the look on his face in his living room or wherever, the game room, wherever they are hanging out for their draft party today, he looked like a broken guy. It's clearly his face looked like that of a young man who has probably had some tears today. It's a tough day. There's no way to get around the fact that Quinn Ewers is in a unique position that I can't imagine that he thought that this is what he would await him when he made the decision to go pro. I can't imagine that this is what Steve Sarkisian would have thought when he talked earlier this week about, hey, it's about time in the Steve Sarkisian era that we have a quarterback get drafted. I don't think this is what he meant. I think it leads to a lot of conversations about, did Sark play the right quarterback last year? Did Steve Sarkisian get enough out of Quinn Ewers? Is Quinn Ewers the questions about what it means, I don't really want to get into today because, quite honestly, it is I'm the last guy to do the show because I don't want people to think that I'm piling on as somebody who has had some, I think, fair criticisms and constructive criticisms and evaluations of Quinn, really going back to when he was in high school. I can remember, saying he didn't throw a great deep ball when he was still a high school prospect, and people literally calling me every name in the book as if it was the craziest thing ever. I have to admit, there have been times today I've asked myself, did he murder somebody? Is there something that happened off the field that we don't know about? I mean, we're probably not going to see Isaiah Bond drafted today. What the hell's going on? And in the end, the NFL just doesn't think a lot of Quinn Ewers. That's not their opinion. That's their actions based on letting him fall into the 7th round. I got to be honest, I don't know a lot about the Miami Dolphins quarterback situation. I know that Tua's there. So without knowing anything, there's a good chance that Quinn Ewers might be on the field at some point pretty early if he makes the team. But I think that's the thing. Like, he is at this round of the draft in round 7. You could make a case that he would have been better off not getting drafted at all, because then at least he could pick the spot that fits him best. But there's no guarantee of making a team in the 7th round. He will have his hands full. Some NFL teams don't keep more than 2 quarterbacks. This might mean practice squad for him. It's hard not to wonder whether or not, when we go back and think about the decision that he needed to make in the offseason about, look, he wasn't going to stay in front of Arch Manning. Does he enter the portal and go someplace else and play another year and make a bunch of money and develop a little bit more? Or does he just go to the NFL? I've had this conversation with Anwar Richardson a million times, and the feeling that he had even just at maybe even as of yesterday or 2 days ago when we were discussing this very thing is he thinks that Quinn was just ready to be done with college football. And I get that, but in the end, he gets drafted later than Garrett Gilbert and Sam Ehlinger, both of whom went 214 and 218 respectively. Ewers goes 231. This just is not what anybody could have expected. I know we had a super chat. Let me find that sucker and go right to it. Jay Lee says PFF live stream Dare the Draft. Quote, let's be honest, Quinn almost went undrafted because he isn't consistent enough at anything to play quarterback in the NFL. I mean, we don't need to be honest, Jay. Like, that's literally what happened. He almost went undrafted. That's not an opinion. He drafted at pick 231. He made it with 26 picks to go, which is a lot. I mean, it's almost a whole round. The 7th round lasts forever. It's one of the reasons why when we entered the 7th round, I was still really confident that he would still make it. But it's a tough day, man. Like I said, I seeing Quinn's face, when they went live to him we hadn't seen him in a while, but to see him get picked, a look of relief, yes, but just, you can't hide just feeling crushed. He knows what this is. This is a guy that's got big aspirations, big dreams, big goals, to end up in a situation where this happens is embarrassing. He's the 12th Longhorn drafted in this draft. He part of his legacy, almost sadly moving forward, will be that he was the number 1 overall pick unanimously in 2021. Although I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to pat myself on the back. To be that guy and to go in the round 7, he will be in the conversation of biggest busts in the history of college football recruiting. To be the number 1 overall pick unanimously, a honor that has only been done a couple of times in the history of recruiting. And usually those guys go in the first round or go first overall. I don't want to pile on. It is what it is. All you can do is wish him well, but you have to wonder if you were Quinn. I guess there's nothing you can do when you've been drafted. I would consider suing to get back into college football. He still has eligibility remaining. The NCAA loses their ass every time there's a lawsuit. I would at least think about it. It can't be worse than the contract that he signs as a 7th round pick will have virtually very little bonus money. There are no guarantees. He'll be on the league minimum until he could get to it's just not what he came to Texas to do. Not what he thought would even happen today. Just Rex says his dreams, ambitions, etc. are all still there. Yeah, man, but so are mine. I hope that one day I'll meet Keira Knightley and can let her know that we can make things happen, that I've been waiting. 20 years I've identified her as a special lady for me. But we'll see which one happens. I might be closer than he is at this point. I don't know. I'm just, look, think about how Sam Ehlinger has been treated in Indianapolis. When you are a quarterback that has had no NFL draft capital spent on you, your value, unless you hit it like Brock Purdy hit it, where you're forced in and you prove yourself at a level where they give you benefit of the doubt, it's really tough to earn. Sam Ehlinger never really got a chance with the Colts because they just looked at him and said, oh, no, man, you were a 6th round guy. We've seen you in practice. We don't really think anything's there. And they just, it is what it is. Someone asked, was there a North Dakota State quarterback drafted in front of Quinn? There were a lot of quarterbacks drafted in front of Quinn. There was one from Montana State. One of the two, either from Montana State or North Dakota State, though, was drafted as a wide receiver. So, let's not make too much out of it. But yeah, it's not great. Jay says this actually makes me feel for $5. Thank you, Jay. This actually makes me feel really good about our offense in the future. Sky's the limit once we get early round NFL quarterback play. There's nothing unfair about that. I was, again, it just doesn't feel like the right time or the right place to throw dirt on Quinn's grave, like after it's just gone into the grave. You guys, if you've watched these shows, you know where I stood on the quarterback situation. You know that I've had some doubts about Quinn Ewers and didn't think he played well enough. And this isn't the moment to do an I told you so, or really to like just examine some of the negative implications of this. Like, I don't want to do that video. There'll be plenty of time. I'll probably have to write about Quinn's experience and my 10 thoughts from the weekend, and I haven't completely thought about what the hell that will look like. The good news for Texas football, 12 guys drafted so far. With 20 picks to go, we could still see Jake Majors. We could still see, who's still out there? Jake Majors, Gavin Holmes, Isaiah Bond. I just don't think Isaiah Bond's getting drafted. The moment that story came out, I said I didn't think Isaiah Bond was going to get drafted, and here we are. And it will be interesting to see kind of what happens with his situation. Should charges eventually get dropped, or he gets cleared of that, I would imagine he'll be a very popular guy in terms of teams giving him as much of an NFL of a bonus as you can give a guy who's an undrafted free agent. He's kind of screwed. And none of us know whether or not that's a warrant spot for him to be in or not. But for him to not get drafted, that's a very big fall from grace. And it'll be hard for him to make up that money anytime soon. Let's see. Any more super chats? I don't really see any. All right, guys. There's no reason to beat a dead horse on the Quinn Ewers situation any more so than we already have. If we look about what happened today, Gunnar Helm in the 4th round, pretty good spot for him considering the issues he had working out. I think if he'd been healthy and been able to work out, maybe he goes into day 2. Baron Sorrell, cool moment to be in Green Bay still as it happens. And, I think he felt some relief to go in round 4 when he probably thought he had a chance to go the day before in round 2. But to have that experience in front of the Packers fans was pretty fantastic. Jaden Blue, 5th round, I think lower than he would have liked to have gone, but I think he falls into a really good spot with the Cowboys. They need a whole lot of what he brings to the table. It's a little bit like the Texas offense right now when you look at the Cowboys. It's like, what they need is somebody who they can give the ball in the backfield to, and every once in a while, it just looks like he's shot out of a cannon with the ball, and that's who Jaden Blue is, for better or for worse. So I think Cam Williams of the Eagles, I think it's a good spot. I don't know. He's a guy that won't be happy about that draft spot, but I guess, Cam, at least you're not Quinn Ewers. And Hayden Connor goes in the 6th round. So all those guys go today. 6 guys in day 2, still waiting to see if anybody else goes off the board. I tell you what, maybe there's a follow-up reaction that I'll do once it's all said and done. If, there's a reason to do so. I see there's a lot of positivity in here. I'm not feeling it. I can't fake it. Today's a bad day for Quinn Ewers. It will historically be remembered, I'm thinking, as this last 3 days is one that he won't want to remember. This is the stuff of nightmares. And it sucks because he's better than the 7th round. He just is. For all of my criticisms of Quinn, Riley Leonard, some of the guys that just went in front of him, guys I hadn't even heard of, it's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But the NFL is telling us what they thought. Like, it's why I like to use the NFL draft metric. There's no There's no fan bias. There's no confirmation bias. There's no, well, I watched him play and I think this is what he is. 7th round pick. When Sam got drafted in the 6th round, there were people who were like, I can't believe he went in the 6th round. What is the NFL thinking? Well, they were thinking they didn't think he was good enough to be a starter in the NFL, and they weren't sure he would even be a backup. And even right now, they're still not really sure what he is, but he's not a starter. Maybe he's a backup quarterback, but I don't think anybody thinks, oh my God, the league got it wrong when they drafted him in the 6th round. Kind of the same with Garrett Gilbert. Those guys earn their pension or will as backup quarterbacks, but the NFL will draft almost anybody if they think he can play. If they don't, they don't. And that's the NFL's been is just telling us what they think of who Quinn Ewers was as a college player. And was he very successful? Yes. Did he take the Longhorns to back-to-back college playoff appearances? Yes. Does he get remembered as one of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the history of the modern Texas football program? Absolutely. But as an overall player, on his own playing metrics, he was kind of an average college football player at all times. He never really hit next levels. He had some spectacular moments, too often surrounded by moments of just up and down, sporadic behavior. And that's how he'll be remembered. And that's what the NFL draft remembered on draft day. And the good news is he has a chance to, his football career continues. There's just a long way to go. He's got a lot of work to do. And as a quarterback, he just has to take advantage of his chances once they come. Anyway, if there's anything else on the draft, maybe we'll jump in, do a little bit more. But this was a Quinn Ewers reaction special as much as anything. And there wasn't a ton to react to that's positive. And I just don't want to be the guy that feels like I'm jumping on a pile right now. Like, it is what it is. He goes in round 7. Everybody wishes him the best of luck. Exactly. Jack jumps in and says, love Quinn. I wish him great success. Everybody does. Humbling moment, though, today. There's no way to kind of get away from that. All right, look, guys, we'll be back at the very latest on the Monday Overreaction Show here when me and Anwar Richardson do our thing until our next video. You guys have a great day.